Welcome back to another episode of Chaotic Harmony, episode 146. I am one of your hosts today, Jonathan Seligman, and today I am joined by the sensible one, Jasmine Mah. Hello, Jasmine.
Hi.
And also, lastly, to end our trio, we have the one who brings the fun, Jamie Jun. Hello, Jamie.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, it is. First off, it was great to see you. We mentioned this on the podcast earlier, but Jamie came down to the wonderful land of San Diego to bring her love of joy and games and South Korean folk songs and games. So thank you so much, Jamie. It was a blast having you.
Yeah, it was really fun. I love the community there. So thank you for having me.
Of course. That all said, it is March. As we get closer to spring break, I'm just curious, like, what's one thing that you're working on with your kids at the moment? Start with you, Jamie.
We're preparing for open house coming up in April. So just trying to review a lot of stuff, like how to play routines on xylophones and but trying to add some more challenges to it because with the fourth and fifth grade we went on a field trip recently with recorders, but the music does not have orph arrangements to them, so I'm trying to figure something out, something very basic in a short amount of time. And then something to do with like younger children and my middle school band and get them prepared for open house and show, hey, this is what we're doing, and it's not just cute, it's an informants.
So do you also, Jasmine, bring kids to field trips? Yay, nay?
Once in a while. Not any this year. I think the closest one is we just go to the feeder middle school this year with the band.
Okay.
And they kind of see how classes go is what we're trying to set up right now. But right now, I guess same is like spring informances. Like I always work with my sped classes and my kinder classes to have an informant in my room for parents to come before, because some families don't want to go to open house because it gets so busy. So I always hold it like an hour before so they get to go see the informants and then they go on their merry way.
For me at the moment, when Victor came to our chapter a year ago, he read us a book, and right now I'm trying out with my fifth graders. It's an adaptation of Street Song within this book called The Rooster Who Would Not Keep Quiet. Beautiful book. And I was telling my partner that, like, man, I cannot, it's so hard for me to read that book to my students without crying or welling up. And so that's always the big challenge. But I'm looking forward to it being showcased after spring break. But yeah, that's what my kiddos are working on. Well, that all said, y'all, this is Chaotic Harmony. To our listeners, this is the show where we talk about this joys, struggles, and all things adjacent to elementary music. Last week, we had a great talk with the game maker, Mr. Aaron Keene. He talks about his journey and philosophy that I wish I personally coined. Music is just people. It was really cool. And make sure you do listen to it. It's a really good chat.
Yes.
Yes, mind blown. Next week, what are we doing next week, y'all? It's been as our listeners, you probably noticed, it's been hard at the moment to come up with an episode because everyone's doing too much at the moment.
That is springtime.
What do you think we should do? What's your idea next week?
I don't know. I was going to say.
For jokes or for reals?
I was like rehearsing for John's wedding, live stream.
Hey, yes.
You see my basic skills.
Okay, well, that will probably not be next week's episode, but do check the socials for what we might do or might not do. That all said, it is not next week, it is this week, and we are talking today about mentoring, all things mentoring, music teacher mentoring, if that was not clear. As teachers, we've all experienced mentors, both within our required educational institutions and outside, and I know everyone's path and journey is different, but there is one equalizer, I believe, I hope. All of us have been student teachers at one point or another. So before we get into our personal current mentorship situations, I'm curious, start with you, Jamie. What was your student teaching like? How was that?
So mine was through Sacramento State University. And at that time, they had just switched over. Previously, before me, they had a 3-semester teaching credential program after you earn your bachelor's degree. And so when you take this 3-semester, you take 1 semester in elementary, 1 semester in middle school, and 1 semester in high school. That was not the case for me. So when I ended up joining and being accepted into the program, they decided to make it just 2 semesters for 1 academic year, and you stay at one site the whole time. And there are definitely some pros and cons, of course. Everybody was thinking like, oh, that like comparing to your own mentorships, the previous year you could do a little bit of everything in whatever situation it is, whether it's primary or secondary. In this case, for me, I was situated or assigned to a middle school band program. So I got to stay at one school from beginning to end for the whole year, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade band. So we had beginning band for 6th grade. And then I saw that. I
What are you
saw that.
talking about?
I mean, yeah. What are you
Oh,
talking about, Jamie?
sorry.
To our audio listeners, Jasmine and I are being butts, just doing 6, 7. Anyways, continue, Jamie. My apologies.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I got to experience both beginning band and advanced band, basically. And she was really great. She was very experienced. She's retired now. So I enjoyed learning from her and seeing beginning and end and seeing and hearing all her recommendations and having a mentor there to let me know this is what we usually do. This is how we usually do this. And so this district does it this way, but she was very informative and we got along really well. And and actually she had a 0-period jazz band. So I also got to see that as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Mind you, middle school is rather different than elementary school. Do you feel like but if you stayed in middle school, what ways do you feel like your mentor provided ways to feel like to make you feel successful?
Well, I feel like the process of the curriculum was pretty set because we used a tradition of excellence, and basically she based her whole lesson plan and everything around that. And I still use tradition of excellence today, although I might omit certain things and make it my own. So
Yeah.
she was very clear about that process and also with classroom management. And she had a good setup. I mean, she had her own room and she had practice rooms and she had like a whole repertoire of things. And so we looked over the book together and then we looked over scores together, and she didn't have to worry about me subbing for her when she was gone. So I could take care of both all the 6th grade and all the middle school, all the middle school grades.
What are in the middle school grades for those not aware, Jamie?
The numbers.
The numbers.
Anyway, no, I feel like it was pretty good, but also just realizing in the past, like I feel if I had continued being a middle school teacher or in middle school band, then I would be a completely different person than I am today.
Jamie, that's enough of you. I want to hear from Jasmine. But
no, I want to hear from Jasmine too.
Jasmine, I know your situation was rather unique. You shared on your episode that, and also a couple other episodes, that you started student teaching, or the end of your university was online. Is that correct?
That
Which one
is
was
true. So I was in a 4-year program. So we did do a little bit of in-person teaching because for us, at least at University of Pacific, we go through junior block where they do place us in elementary classrooms. And we are the teacher in the room. And occasionally our professor would come in and then like the classroom teacher was still in the room while we were teaching, like for that set period of time. So we did have some like in-person teaching, which was really nice. Like I taught high school choir and elementary general music. But then when it came to student teaching specifically, we were in that online, don't know what to do yet, hybrid, and then just starting to come back hybridness. So like I know for me, I had multiple CTs, I think is what most people call them, or like master teachers. So I had high school orchestra, and then 4 different elementary sites, and then middle school band and jazz band.
So, as far as cooperating teacher, I know we're running more on this time than I had expected because we love to chat here at Chaotic Harmony. But just as out of curiosity, how was your mentor? You had multiple. How was your
How were your
overall
mentors?
mentors as
I
a
would
student
say
teacher?
it was a relatively nice experience. Like, it was very well rounded. It was a lot of driving. I was driving from Lodi to Davis to Stockton every day. So it was
Just for those who aren't up there, like minute wise.
an hour 30 to one school and then an hour 30 back throughout the day. So, and then when I was teaching in Lodi, I had 6 elementary schools I would visit. So I drive from the high school to 6 elementary schools, an hour 30 to Davis, watch that, and drive an hour 30 back for my classes.
And you obviously got compensated for that gas, right?
Oh, I wish. I wish.
Oof.
We still don't get paid for student teaching.
Of course they don't.
Yeah. And but like I said, it was a really awesome experience. I do know, like, it was also a really stressful experience. Like, I know my CTs were also facing a lot of stressors at that time.
Sure. Yeah.
And I feel like it really, like, the pandemic affected us in different ways. And I recognized that. But the hard part was, like, it was what it was.
Was what it was. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I believe of all the 7 people here at Chaotic Harmony, I believe we are all or have all been a mentor at one point or are currently. The 2 of you are currently mentors. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
First off, why did you want to be mentors? Like, teaching is hard enough. And I know that the stipend. So, Jamie, you have a student teacher, and Jasmine, you're an induction mentor. Is that correct?
I have a student teacher and an inductee.
Oh, shoot.
I'm double.
Okay, why do you do that to yourself? I guess that's my first question. Why do you pursue mentorship when teaching already is a full-time job?
I felt like, at least for me, when I was student teaching, it felt so much more like a collaboration. And I felt like it would give me a chance to reflect on my teaching if someone new came in and gave it a different perspective. I also only agreed to that, though, also because I'm sharing my student teacher with another teacher.
Oh,
so I share it with my friend Sarah Lamb. So there's some days where my student teacher will go to Sarah, and sometimes the student teacher will come to me, and we switched off. So now my student teacher sees me less. They saw me a lot in the beginning of the year because it's also a big introduction to SDC in the classroom, because a lot of student teachers also don't usually get like an introduction to teaching SDC classes for music. So we thought it would be better if they visited me a lot in the beginning and saw how I set down routines. And then once they got it going, we send them over to Sarah's, because Sarah was also building up her program. So she was like, I need some time. So I was like, oh, perfect. Okay, you get them in the spring, I take them in the fall. And then I could focus on induction for my mentee.
So you shared, sorry, I got really happy when you shared, talk about Sarah, and then I lost the first idea. You shared that the big part of it was partially just because you were able to share, but also to build up the community. Is that what it is? To help foster the music teacher community in your area?
To help foster that, and also just reflect on my own teaching. Like, I was like, I feel like I can always meet with, like, Jamie, for example, but I know we have similar perspectives. But if I talk with a student teacher who might have a new view on what general music might look like in the elementary classroom, it's interesting to get those views and, like, collaborate with my student teacher on, like, what can we create that shows a bit of you, it shows a bit of me while we co-teach this class.
Cool. And Jamie, how about you? Like, is it the same reason? Is it a little different, or is it the lovely pay?
Yeah, we're not getting paid this year for it.
Oh, you aren't?
No, they're just offering credit hours. So anyway,
wait. I'm curious, just out of curiosity, because I said curious now 3 times. Credits? What do you mean by that?
Credit hours. So with our like units, basically.
You're giving
university units.
Credits, or university. Oh,
we're getting university units. But in any case, there are several reasons why I wanted to go into mentorship. Because one, it's like I was saying at the workshop when I was in San Diego, I'm very passionate about supporting like new teachers or teachers who are just getting into elementary music, because I feel like for me, the only experience I had was just that one semester, that one class
Right,
in my
right.
undergraduates. That's not enough for us going into an actual career in elementary music or to grow a program. And I felt like there weren't very many, or either that, or at the time they didn't assign me to someone who was, or didn't
Mm-hmm.
think to do that. And so I definitely want to be another available support person and mentor to support people who are seeking that sort of opinion and advice about what to do in the elementary music room. The second is also just to really not just support, but also to really like set some foundational groundwork on how can you, I wouldn't say successful, how can you manage and be able to get a good grounding in how to keep going in this profession without burnout,
Oh.
and also to keep that joy and motivation going, to keep that drive going, because I think we'll talk about it later, but I'm starting to see some teachers, either in elementary or just a lot of music teachers in general, who are not really doing research or work into their lessons or into their
Yep.
curriculum in order to have like a very authentic and nutritious or music program, basically.
Sure. I hear you.
Because I'm sure there's a reason for people to subscribe to Quaver. I'm
Sure.
sure there's a reason why some people have to use videos or have to use like a plug-in lesson, like here's a present of a lesson, kind of like we were talking about at Casmic, where all these companies are offering you prepackaged lessons. And we're seeing teachers who are buying into it. And I'm passionate about giving tools
Yeah.
or trying to collaborate and give tools to new teachers or teachers who are looking for this help to figure out how to manage that without falling into that temptation.
I like that a lot. I guess I didn't share my experience, but like
Yes, please.
I did not know what I was doing.
None of us
Like
did.
similar. Well, I feel like Jasmine, when you shared your episode, I feel like, dang, I wish I had your, maybe not student teaching, but at least
The
your
building
the
of the
program that you
program,
went to.
because
Yeah.
it gave me I had a good foundation, and that was the big thing,
Mhm.
is that I really appreciate about University of Pacific is I felt like the foundation I was given, like you could put me in a secondary or an elementary classroom and I was like, I could float. I'm not sinking and I'm not swimming, but I'm at a point where if I keep researching or building myself, it would get there.
Yeah. And for me, like my credentialing program was pretty bad, to be quite frank. The program was not focused on music education. It was focused on education as abroad. And the one thing I do appreciate is that I got a dual credential in special ed as well as music education. So
Mm.
they were pretty good in special ed, and I do appreciate that. It helped me understand IEPs better, even though I don't work directly anymore with IEPs, but I did back then. But like once they started working on music, it was bad. I remember my secondary music. Well, we took a class on that was more supposed to be geared towards what my trade was, and it was just poorly constructed. I don't blame the professor. It was just a weird situation. And so I had no training other than maybe some stuff on classroom management,
Mm.
maybe some broad stuff on philosophy of education, which was helpful actually. I do want to give a shout out to my professor there, but yeah, Ray Posey. Thank you, Ray. But like beyond that, it was not substantial whatsoever. And so when I went into student teaching, I then was placed into a really weird situation where the music teacher was a part-time teacher. She only taught 3 periods, one concert band, and 2 guitar classes. And so she gave me one guitar class and also doing warm-ups, and also I led one piece for for that. And then since I was doing special ed, I also taught English. That was my student teaching in that. And then in that situation, my cooperating teacher got promoted, and so I was given a new. It was a hot mess. Hot
Oh,
mess.
I never knew this about you.
oof,
Yeah.
oof.
But then once I was trying to apply for music education jobs, I said, I guess I'm going to try for concert band or choir. It wasn't until there was an opening. I told you about that class. That was a hot mess of a class because I met someone, Erin Zumaris. If you're listening, hi Erin. She recommended me to Lauren Shelton, who we've talked about many times on this podcast, and she was the one who said, "Yo, down in Chula Vista, we're hiring for elementary music teachers." But I signed up, but I didn't know what I was doing at all. I had no experience whatsoever. And so I thank the informal people that were not part of the institutions I was part of, but I know we didn't even go into induction mentoring. Those not in California, induction mentoring is after you get your teacher credential, you were required to by the state to do 2 years under a mentor to learn how to be a good teacher. And my induction mentor was a kindergarten teacher because we had no music teachers in our district. I was one of the first. So I wish I had people like you, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It was the same for me. I did not have a music teacher as my induction teacher. And just to add to that, you're doing induction while teaching your full-time job, full-time music job. And so not only are you teaching full-time during the day, you have to see your induction mentor and also take certain classes and meetings in order to clear what we call clearing your credential.
Initially, you receive what's called a preliminary credential, and that's temporary unless you get your credential cleared through the induction process.
And so mine was not music either. She helped me a lot with some classroom management stuff and helped validate you are doing the right thing. You're doing the best you can in this situation. I'm like, phew.
I'm grateful that she definitely same situation. She understood what it's like to be a first year teacher, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm grateful also that I had former co-host Zoe Kumagai as one of in that same cohort of induction mentors under this kindergarten teacher. She was a great person, but she just didn't do music, and so
it's hard for them to find that connection. Because that was for me when, at least in our district, for your first year, you get someone from the district, and the second year, you get someone in your field. So it was nice, but in my first year, it was hard for me to explain and justify challenges. When I was going room to room and being like, this is a challenge, and they're like, I don't see why. I'm sure it'll be fine, and I think you're just not used to it. But then trying to explain, oh, I want to do movement, but I also have to move all these desks. And they're like, well, could they do them at the desks? Can we do these things? I was like, you can, but are they getting the full potential out of this lesson? No. But that's one thing I find challenging is when you don't have someone in your field as your induction mentor. Because it's also the beginnings of your teaching. I was really lucky that my second year I had an induction mentor who was also an elementary music teacher. And the amount of time she was like, Jasmine, are you not noticing this is an inequity issue? You need to notice this isn't okay. I was like, oh really? I just thought that just came with the job. That was just part of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so many that also have that because they don't have someone in that field being like, no, this is how it's supposed to go, or this is your room for the moment. You can't get kicked out.
Yeah, and a lot of them don't have the experience of being pushed. For some of us who are push-in itinerant music arts teachers, and so a lot of the times our mentors are coming from classroom teaching experience where they had their own room and they had their own set of kids for the whole year. So I guess kind of like with your kindergarten teacher and my teacher who I think she specialized in second grade. She was not in music or arts at all. And yeah, it's hard to. They were nice people. I mean, we did the best we could to get along and to make it work, and we still passed. But it just makes it that much harder when you're starting out. when you don't have someone.
So we talked about our why, and maybe we can go into our how. So Jamie, you've been a student teaching mentor, but
We
cooperating
call it
teacher.
a cooperating teacher. Yes.
So you've been a cooperating teacher. How many student teachers have you had underneath or with
This
you?
is just my second year.
Second
I'm
year,
still
okay.
pretty new to it, but I've had some candidates come for like a short period of time. Or I've had some people come observe, or I've had collaboration meetings and talked to certain people about like, hey, I can be your mentor, and we can just meet once in a while and try to do that. And on a more of an informal basis, but it was more because of our music teaching team. We were like, hey, we're on leadership, so let's assign each other to like pick somebody and be their partner for the year, sort of thing.
Okay. And have you been an induction mentor as well, or just?
No, but I think next year I will consider doing it because I'm going to take a break from student teaching this year. I was not crazy like Jasmine. I decided not to have a student teacher and be an induction coach. I think I will just be an induction coach next year.
Okay. And Jasmine, speaking of the crazies, so how many years have you been induction mentor?
This is my first year as an induction mentor and as a collaborating teacher.
Are you kidding me? Like, oh my gosh.
Busy. A lot of learning, but I really appreciate my district for at least induction. They're very clear with their expectations and what they're going for. And then we always have like consistent trainings to keep us updated. So I'm always like, am I in the right spot? And I could just message the like head induction person, and then they'll be like, you're fine. Everything looks great. Or they'll email me and be like, you should edit this because this might not work for their project. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why I was like, induction for me was pretty straightforward, like not even too hard. Like I feel like part of my job is just to type. Like at least in our district, we type most of the induction paperwork for our mentees. So like I'm just like, give me all the information, tell me the T, and I'll type it for you.
Tell you the T.
So they don't do it. Okay, so they don't input.
They do make an end of the year project, but I'm just scribing everything so that when
you're translating it into the language for them so that they can pass. Yes, so because it's not geared towards the arts, induction or credentialing, or I mean, they're sort of improving at Sac State, but I hear that like in general, it's still not geared towards the arts. So we have to do a lot of translation of this also fulfills this requirement. What we're doing here is also fulfilling this requirement, and we just have to translate it into that language.
Yeah, but also our district's induction program is unique in itself, where rather than like a BITSA where you fill out all the paperwork and you just send it in, our induction mentees have to present to administration within the district on a project and a goal. So that's why I do most of the typing, because they're working on that project. So I'm typing everything so they can just copy and paste the district jargon that has to be in there onto their PowerPoint, and can just solely focus on like finishing their presentation.
And also, just to be clear, both of us are have our student teachers through Sacramento State University, through my alumni.
I guess since we're talking about the how, so for you, Jasmine, I know this is your first year doing this. What is something that you really have been or want to focus on when you are trying to assist your people? What is like kind of like, I guess, your ethos? If they learn anything or if they get anything from me, I mean, I'm not even talking about lesson per se, since you're also a student teaching, but like, what's something that you want to be for these mentors that you either were received as through your mentorship or did not receive?
I guess the best way to go about it is to show my student teacher and even like my mentee is like, I don't know how to best describe this other than like being a gentle demander. Like
a warm demander.
That's the word.
Yes.
Where I've noticed a lot of like my upbringing too, and like Medela's memory. Like you get into that drill sergeant mode or like rehearsal mode of like, we got to be here, we're doing this, and that rigidity. But then, like, for me, teaching at a site that has a large amount of special education classes, sometimes days come where they come in and they're escalated, and we got to think about the needs first. And that's something that I really try to emphasize with my student teacher of, like, what are you noticing here? Like, what behaviors are you noticing, and how did you see me react to them? Because a lot of times, like, I wasn't like raising my voice, like my voice didn't raise much, but like I was very clear with my boundaries and giving options and making sure that that student felt heard and seen. And that's something I really wanted my student teacher to see, at least, because I've also seen the other end of, like, I could be reacting in this way or responding in this way, but would that really help navigate the student's way of de-escalation with those behaviors, or help them build those skills themselves? Because though it won't, like, they might be seeing me do the same thing every single time, over time, where I know this kindergartner, when they're in 5th grade, they'll have those tools and like those skill sets when they're up there. And I'm thinking of the long term, because that's something I did talk about with my mentor a lot, or my mentee a lot, is like thinking of things in the long term, especially behavioral wise.
Mm-hmm. Because the
I like
idea
that.
is that you're going to be seeing these kids every year.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you grow up with them. So it's always like, what I try and focus on is like trying not to label that behavior as something, but as a need of, like, okay, I notice, like, when the student comes in escalated, is there a proprioceptive need? Is it just an emotional need to, like, want to connect with me? Is it an attention? Like, they're trying to grab my attention. How do I model for them how to get my attention? And it becomes a consistent thing. And I know it might turn into a tantrum for 10 minutes of my class. But how do we still build those skills up? Because they've even seen students who I've had at the beginning of this year to now building up those skills. And though they're subtle, and sometimes it happens 30% of the time, but that's still more than zero.
Yeah. That's cool. I feel like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but I feel like a lot of mentorship is often focused on, what do we call it? Systems, not systems per se, but more like, that's a little bit too specific. I mean, think more broadly, like, just how do you run your scope and sequence? How do you run basic stuff? And like, these are valid questions that people ask, but the fact that
definitely.
you lean into that, your ethos is, how do you interact with kids? I mean, as we share all the time, what we do is we teach kids first and foremost. And so that's really awesome that that's not just something that you say, but also something that you aim for with your student teachers.
Mm-hmm. Could
Jamie,
you
how about
repeat the question again?
Yeah, like, what is something that you try to bring to the table as a mentor? Because now you've done it for 2 years for you, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
What is, like, if they learn anything from me, if they gain anything from me, what is it that you want them to get from you?
Yes, I would like to be an example of like a positive and productive example of how to be that warm demander of a teacher with my children or with my students. Because along similar lines, like, Jasmine and I agree on a lot of things. Our philosophies are very similar, because during my own student teaching experience, it was a very different population, a very different teaching style, very different setting. I did not encounter any of the behaviors that I saw when I first started teaching when I was student teaching. And I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know. That's why I was so desperate to seek mentorship, so desperate to seek trainings and professional development. Because when a student is like this in my room, how on earth am I supposed to respond? And I feel like that's where a lot of teachers are in survival mode, because most of the time we're not taught that. And in the credential program, when I asked certain questions about, if a child does this, then what do you do? They said, they weren't helpful. It wasn't helpful. They said, just talk to the kid. I'm like, how?
And you also have to
Bruh.
keep in mind, like, these are also, they saw their kids every day. We would see them once a week. So I would
Yeah.
see them, and then next week it could be completely different events, completely
It
different thing
was
going on with that.
very, yes, exactly, very unique situation, and the demographic that I was in was very different than where I first started teaching. So it was, everything was completely different than what I thought. So I feel like at my school and where I currently am now, I feel like I love my school. I love the teachers and I love the community there. But I also feel like it's a good, well, it's not perfect. Of course not. I'm not perfect. And I feel like it's a good example and a good, well rounded setting for a student teacher. Because I work at a K 8 school. There, I don't teach kindergarten. It's not, like we mentioned before, it's not part of their half days. But I teach first grade all the way through 8th grade. And
Mhm.
for the middle school portion, then it's an elective, band elective class. So whoever is student teaching with me or observing me for a day or a week or so, they get to see all of it. They get to see all the classes that happen to be doing really great because they had all their needs met.
Mm.
And they're following everything that we're doing and just eating the everything out of my hands. And so and then we see the classes where there are children with disabilities or children who are bilingual and still learning how to like be in this environment. We have refugees. We have students who are from more higher social economic backgrounds. We have a very diverse community here
Mm.
at my school at Sierra Oaks, and I feel like this is such a well-rounded place for a student teacher, for someone who's music to come and see, especially for my program, because only last year did we actually have a consistent, solid music teaching program with me.
Oh.
So I am the first middle school band teacher at the school, and it's their first time. I don't know in how many years that they've had a full-time music teacher at their site.
Mm.
So I tell my student teachers, you're going to see a lot of growing pains. And so they're seeing that as well. And I just
Mm.
want to be that example of how to do this and how to navigate it. The word I was looking for earlier, I hope to support new teachers to be self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
word I was looking for, because there how do you, if you're starting from scratch like I am or like I was, where do you start? How do you survive? How do you manage these classroom behaviors? How do you build a system in your own class? How do you still make it like full of joy and play? How do you make it so that every child from these diverse communities and cultures, how can you be culturally responsive? How can you incorporate social justice standards into your curriculum? How can you not be afraid to experiment? But how do you also set boundaries so that everybody is still playing in a safe place? So I anyway, that's the all that is the
Yeah.
answer to your question.
And man, I don't know. It's when you mentioned how no one gave really solid answers. I feel like
No,
it's
it's
easy
all
for us
case by case
to.
basis. And
That's the thing. It's always case by case. And if
yeah,
anyone was to tell you a magic wand, they're either lying to you or they're lying to you. So, but yeah, it's a tough thing. But that's kind of the reason why we need mentors, because they are hopefully actually going to the sites and watching what's going on, or at least have some sort of connective tissue. Um, I guess so we've all, Jasmine, remind me, how long have you been teaching for again?
I'm on my 5th year this year.
Fifth year. And Jamie, you're on your 11th or 10th?
11th.
11th. Okay. Same here, 11th. Um, I know mentorship, we have all been mentors in more of what we'd like to call it like institutionalized settings, because we have been mentors in a way because of a different university has this placed out for us, or our district has placed out for us. But also mentorship can be sought outside. I know for myself, when I was heavily considering becoming a movement TE, which has been now put on hold for a bit,
I
but
wonder
still,
why.
well, there's not just that, but multiple
Okay.
reasons.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of layers to
Yes.
it,
Yes.
but
Totally.
Yeah.
I sought out Mika Inoue, and
Mhm.
she has become my personally. Like, I would consider you, Mika, if you're listening right now, a mentor of mine.
Mhm.
Same thing with you, Joshua. I know you're a listener of this podcast, Joshua Block. Who are mentors that you seek or that you have sought um, in the recent past as teachers, not just through student teaching or um, induction, but like through your own volition? Who are people that you have sought out and why?
Jasmine, your turn.
Oh, okay. I think for me, it's like I think I've sought out a lot more mentors in ORF, like the AOSC, like affinity groups. I think for me was like a big like where I get a lot of like, oh, not only like seeing teachers like myself, but also just like hearing their opinions. But like Natasha and Tiffany are people I know, like I could probably message and be like, I need someone to listen and
Yeah.
bounce back. But I think it's also just like, and I don't know if it's like a mentorship or a collaboration, but even just like my coworkers in San Juan, like Jamie, Sarah, and Teresa, where sometimes I'm like, I don't know what happened with this lesson, but it was just stressful and I just need to
Mhm.
word vomit it. And maybe they might have better ideas net like than I have at the moment because I was just like, what happened? Like this was a dumpster fire. But I feel like it was that. But a lot of my mentors, I would say, like in ORF or even like my levels teachers, like there's been times where I've messaged them and been like, this went super well. Oh my gosh, I'd love to show you like how our lesson's going. And like we'll send pictures or I'll be like, this actually didn't go well. And this is can I talk to you about how you went about these steps?
Mhm.
Because it's always good to like just go back to like the original. Because sometimes when you're thinking about like an experience you've had, you're like in the magic, but you didn't pay attention to the mechanics of what was going on. So I guess yeah, mostly from ORF, but also just like within my district, have been like my unofficial mentors.
Mhm. How about you, Jamie?
I have a whole list. It's hard to like just keep it short or small because I guess it depends on which approach we're talking about.
Sure.
So for I guess I've mentioned before, I've studied ETM and I feel like the trajectory I'm going at with my career right now, especially with all the workshops I'm trying to teach at or present, is in offshore work as well. In ETM, I would say they're Cindy Teresi, Janet Thorgrimson, George Dozet, Marie Butler. See, there's a lot. And then in offshore work, definitely Tiffany Berry and Natasha Thurman and Mika. I definitely look up. I guess there's the other question about is it because they're my mentors or do I just look up to them and I want to
Yeah,
follow
that's
their
where I feel
example?
too, where I'm like,
But
Yeah.
I
but I
guess
feel like
I
that's the job of a mentor too, is to look up to them.
that's the idea. I think the thing is the term mentor. I guess I bring this up because, and I don't want to cut you off, Jamie. I would love to hear more,
No,
but I
it's
do want to
okay.
also. I want your Oscar speech. Come on. But like, I feel like the term mentor does not have to be limited to just the people that we are required to meet with. Like, it's really cool that people are meeting with you, Jamie, and you, Jasmine. And like, I'm honored that one of my induction mentors, I'm still in communication with. He was actually at the session with you, Jamie, Jeremy Abelard.
Oh, nice.
So he was my induction
Mentee.
Mentee.
mentee. Thank you. And the thing is, like, mentorship, it does not have to be as formalized as it needs to be. And I feel like also for myself, I'm speaking like more for myself. I felt really apprehensive to reach out to Mika just because, like, I look up to her, but there are a bunch of people that want to share knowledge and want to help out like as you mentioned, Jasmine, they want to help out this music education community. And as we are often stuck in our four walls, like reach out because there's a lot of cool people out there.
And it
Yeah.
can be intimidating. Like
It
I
can be.
was like, I felt intimidated at first when I was like, they're like a celebrity in my eyes. Like,
Sure.
oh no, like what if I say something stupid? Like that was like my big thing is I get so nervous and I'd be like, I totally just I blew it. I blew it. I can't believe I said that. And like, who was I talking? I was talking about like with a good friend of mine because she also feels the same way because we had the same levels
I feel the same
teachers.
way.
So with so when I like
But
talk
the
with them, I'm
difference
like, oh my
is
god.
I never got over that feeling. I've never overcome that feeling.
And there's still moments like that where I'm like, I can't believe you asked that like, oh, why would you ask that? And but the information you always get back, I feel like helps, but it's also like it shows to like them like you're interested and you're wanting to learn more. And I feel like that's
Yes.
the point is like you need to show these people who you might feel a bit intimidated, but they'll give you so much more information and they show that it shows how interested you are in their content. And I feel like that's a wonderful compliment in itself. Like if people ask me for advice, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're asking me for advice.
Of
And I feel really
course.
honored that people
Yeah.
will ask me for advice. And I feel like other people feel very similar.
And
John, you
anyone
haven't told us about yours.
my what?
Your the people that you look up to
Who
either.
are
Well, I
yours?
should,
Or
well,
No,
about
you
your
said you said
own
careful.
Mika. You
past.
said Mika.
I said Mika, Joshua Block,
Yeah.
definitely Tiffany, definitely Natasha.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right.
I
You did
there
say a couple of them. We want to hear more.
We want the whole list.
there are like I'll start there, and I think my issue is that I haven't reached out enough, and that's kind of why that's why I do these podcasts. You know, I want to learn from people, and like anyone, like, again, every teacher that's worth their salt is going to be wanting to learn more and more. And so, if you want to reach out to someone, likely they're going to respect it that that you want to learn from them, whatnot. Because what else are we if not just people who want to make this world a better place?
Yeah, I
Um,
would personally be happy to have more people ask questions and more people to reach out. I doubt anyone feels that way about that sort of intimidation thing about me, but like I
Oh no, Jamie.
no, but also
Oh.
it just goes both ways
yes.
because I feel like for both a mentor and mentee, whether it's informal, institutionalized, or whatever, there has to be communication. There has to be communication both ways from the mentor reaching out and saying, hey, I'm here for you. Please go ahead and ask questions. You can blah, blah, blah. And the mentee also needs to communicate back, especially if they've
Mhm.
already offered that opportunity. Because I'm not going to try to pry it out of you. I don't like to pry. I don't like to get into people's
You just try to
business.
pry out of me, Jamie.
Oh, because we're
No,
friends.
we're friends. We're friends. Yeah.
No, but like, I'm not gonna try to pry or get into your space or invade your privacy about like, how come you're not doing this sort of
Mhm,
thing.
mhm.
I'm not gonna give that impression. I'm here. I'm available when you need it. But the mentees also, if you're struggling, don't be afraid to ask or don't be afraid to meet halfway is what I guess would be my advice to everybody. Is
And
like,
sometimes you might not know what questions to ask. Like I know my mentor, Catherine. Oh, I love her. But like when I didn't know what to say, I was like, Catherine, I have smooth brain right now. My brain is smooth because there's so much information that it smoothed it out. And sometimes like just saying that where it's like this was a lot of information, like gives us a chance to be like, okay, so let's look at this in chunks. And maybe we'll end up having questions from there. Like
yeah.
even just saying something along the lines of like, I don't even know what to ask, but I know I have questions. And that contacting, of reaching out, of like, I do want information, I just don't know yet, can sometimes give us an idea of like, oh, maybe it was just a lot of information, we can look at it and like chunk it out, and that might help delve deeper into that.
I guess I feel like I can see the fear as well. You want to look like you are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be vulnerable.
Syndrome.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, I was gonna save this for afterwards, like during the break, but have you ever felt intimidated by a mentee? Because I have. They know who they are. They know who they are. They are a really good music teacher, and when I had them as a mentor, as
a mentee,
as a mentor, I was like, oh gosh, they are going to surpass me in 1 year. So again, it's the surpass. This is the whole fear mindset.
That's awesome.
No, it's cool. They're awesome. They really are. And so, yeah. Anywho, but it's that whole element. Like, if you've had that apprehension of, like, they're going to surpass me, like I have or had.
It's not a competition. It's a collaboration, and that's like the big thing. Is it's always like, we're a team sport. Like there's no I in team. Like if you're constantly thinking about like either how much like you're not at this level, like you're gonna get stuck there, versus how do I get there? Like what's the slope I need to take to get from point A to point B? Or for your mentee, that's also like the mindset of, rather than like, oh my gosh, they're down here, I need them up here. Like, well, how do we get there? Or if they're up here and I'm over here, I'm like, okay, so how do I meet them? It's where do we find our plateau points?
Everybody needs to watch the video of this, because Jasmine just gave a lot of visuals from here to here to there to there. Yep.
And hopefully it's all in frame.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think on that note, along with communication and everything we've talked about, we have to make sure that it's more of a partnership. In my opinion, yes, there's a mentor who has more experience just because you've been doing it for longer. And then there's a mentee who is just starting out, I'm assuming, or does not have as much experience. But you're still adults. You're partners in this. Mm-hmm. It's not a hierarchy. It's not meant to be a hierarchy or that competition that Jasmine was talking about. Because I feel like I could say whatever I feel like is best for you, but if you're not willing to listen to it, if you don't have the mindset to actually like follow through with everything I'm trying to teach you, or anything, then there's no point. There's no point in this mentorship and having a mentor and mentee. I feel like both the mentor and the mentee have to do the work together and keep it balanced in that regard. Because there have been times, I'm using visuals too. We've also been in a situation where we had collaboration meetings with newer colleagues, and then they just took advantage by just asking us what lessons we're doing and just tries to copy everything we say, and not actually doing the work of figuring out how to do it, how to write the lesson plan, why we planned it this way. And we would try to talk about, this is the song that we played. All they did was try to do the song and nothing more. They didn't research the song. They didn't have a process for teaching it. They didn't actually do any of the other movements or any other activities related to it. Sometimes we feel like we get taken advantage of, or we have to go past our boundaries to do so much work. And then only for them to say, we want more. We just want more. We want more materials. Just tell us what you're doing. Just tell us. And that's why I thought I want to go back to, I'm hoping that these mentees will become self-sufficient teachers. We're trying to teach you how to fish, not give you the fish.
And I'd like to add on to that, as you mentioned earlier, the whole element that we are not, again, visuals, we are collaborating together. the job of a mentor as well is to make sure that they are listening as well. And ensuring that it is not ensuring that we see where the problems lies. And sometimes in some cases it's just that the mentees just are trying to do a quicker way as opposed to actually listening. But also sometimes the mentor needs to make sure that they are listening to the actual needs of who is in front of them rather than what they expect the mentee to have or to do. My uncle, he teaches photography, and something he told me when I first started teaching is that in the end, the teacher is going to be learning more than the student is, because they are going to be hearing and listening at what the kids are doing and seeing how they can how the teacher can adapt and learn and grow from there. So, yeah, I hope if you are to those listening and interested in becoming a mentor, I encourage you to also don't forget, as simple as it sounds, to listen.
Yeah.
Well,
Honestly.
I think we solved the problem of mentorship.
Yeah. All
Next
done.
week's episode is I don't know. Cool. Well, actually, just to add I don't know, nice bow to it. Do you have any final words? I share my final words. Any final words to anyone who wants to become a mentor?
It's a two-way street. Like, I think that's the big thing. If it you're giving as much as they're giving. Like, and it's both people. And that's, I think, why it's never a competition. Like, it should never be a comparison game, is I think the big thing. Because when the moment you start getting into like not really comparisons, but like the judgment of like where someone is at, I feel like that's never helpful. Because I'm like, sometimes comparing things is good when you're looking at different teaching styles and different perspectives and stuff like that. But when you're like, you should be here, what's going on? Like, I feel like sometimes that can put people down. And at least as a mentor or on the mentee side of things, it gets like stressful if you don't like help set up a pathway towards that, where I'm like, okay, I noticed that we're falling behind a little bit here. That's fine. And we're trying to meet in the middle here. Here's the necessary steps that we could be taking and setting up a plan. But I honestly, I would just say, go for it. Be a mentor, be a mentee. Just ask people questions and you'll probably get more answers than you thought.
So the original question was, what advice do we give for people who are looking to be mentors?
Yes, correct.
I feel like, yes, do it. Just do it.
Do it.
No, but I mean, of course, you need to take care of yourself first. And I feel like that's what I'm learning a lot these past couple of years is that I am so passionate about wanting to help and wanting to support that unfortunately I sometimes like go past my own boundaries of a lot of giving. So yes, be a mentor, because we definitely need more, especially if you feel like you have something valuable to offer and you're agreeing. If you're listening and you're agreeing with a lot of things that we're saying, that's a good sign that you probably would be like a positive mentor to somebody. In my opinion. And I feel like, but also at the same time, to set your boundaries for yourself so you take care of yourself, because we're full-time teachers. And then you have a student teacher to take care of. But that's why I was mentioning earlier about how this mentorship should be a partnership, because if you're both adults and can communicate and have that healthy communication, both of you should be able to set boundaries. Both of you should be able to do the work without getting burnt out or overwhelmed. I feel like that healthy communication is key so that you as a mentor can support someone and support new teachers, because we definitely need more self-sufficient music teachers in this world.
100%.
But at the same time, take care of yourself. Self-care.
Self-care.
Because we need you as well.
Mhm.
Not just good teachers, but also you as well. I mean, we need you to be a good teacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Step.
True.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Jamie, Jasmine, thank you for being a part of this conversation. And we will be back in a bit, y'all. But first, a quick little break.
Hey, we just want to take a quick moment to shout out Mission Trails Financial, the partner making this show possible at no cost to you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by financial planning, you're not alone. But Mission Trails Financial is here to make things simpler. They offer tailored financial advice for you, from investments to tax and insurance planning, with a team of experienced fee-based advisors who are CFP designated and fiduciaries. That means they're putting your best interests first. Let's face it, navigating the world of finances can feel like drinking from a fire hose with endless options for investments just a mouse click away. But Mission Trails Financial aims to cut through the noise by breaking things down into clear, actionable steps while providing regular updates. Mission Trails Financial believes everyone has the right to work with a financial advisor regardless of how much you've saved. Mission Trails Financial's focus is building a relationship so you are not traveling your financial path alone. They even help you keep track of old 401ks when you're transitioning between jobs, because your financial future should always stay on track, no matter what changes. So don't wait. Let Mission Trails Financial show you how to make that next step towards the future you've worked hard for. Plus, your first consultation is absolutely free. Just visit missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 today. You'll be glad you did, because leaning on professionals like Mission Trails Financial is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more details. Advisory services offered through New Edge Advisors LLC, a registered investment advisor.
And we are back. But if you are not a new listener, you know what's up. A hard left turn. Thank you all so much for being a part of this 146 plus episode journey. It's wonderful to have you join us. But if you want this journey to continue, please support the things you love. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/chclassroom, where you can get special merch and other things for the class. The Patreon is revamped. Heads up, we've shared this before, but to those who are new, it's been revamped. January's principles are out, and March's newsletter should be out by the time this episode gets published. We also have unedited episodes, and you can get those for free, because this one's going to be a long one, so it's likely this will be an edited episode if you're listening and not on Patreon. However, we get it. Subscriptions can be weird. So if you still love the work we do and want to support us with a one-time donation, you can use get to us, buymeacoffee.com/chaotic harmony. If you donate there, you can give a shout out or request a Spiccato. But if you don't have a coin to toss our way, that's okay. But there are free ways to support us. Leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever other platform you use. I think a couple of them, like Podcast Addict, has also a review session. It helps make sure that this podcast is seen and fights the algorithms that don't want us to be heard. It also just makes this community grow. And you know the drill. 5 stars only. To add, if you have a written review, we will read on the podcast. It's still our latest, so we're not going to read it today. But you can follow us on YouTube, join us on the socials, leave us this episode a kind comment. All these small things ensure that the mics and lights stay on. Let me get my albuterol for a second. Okay, we're good. That all said, we do have a Spiccato. Speaking of mentors, I shared about Joshua Block, who's a listener of the show and also a good friend of the show, and also I would consider a mentor of mine. He sent us a Spiccato idea, and these I don't know if I'm gonna maybe put it on in post on the video, but these are Polybands that bind boxes of paper together.
They actually
all
have a
seen them.
name.
Yeah. Is there a name beyond Polybands?
No, I just never knew what
That's
the
the
name
name.
was.
Oh, that's the name? Okay. Okay. That was a
Mhm.
description. I thought it was just a description. Okay. So we all have them. You have them. You've seen them. If you teach at a school, you know what these are. Those boxes of reams of paper that have these things that hold them together. So instead of throwing it out like a skibbity, what would you do to use in the music classroom? How to use them?
Jasmine, go.
Okay, so I was using them for movement. Like, yes, you can use vocal sirens because they're all bent in random ways depending on where you cut them. So you could do it like that. But even like going for like different shapes. Like I would just like squish them all together and see what my kids would create, and then like and make different shapes like
Oh,
that, and see what the students would utilize with that. So I'm like, I wonder what kind of shapes you would make, or if I can iron the other shapes because they're like a plastic.
iron them?
So I would
They are
like iron
plastic.
them with multiple different kinds of shapes and see what I could use as like different prompts. Because if I threw them out there and I like kept them all squished up, the students wouldn't know what to expect. And then when I like let go, what shape would it
Okay.
be?
Gotcha. All right. Jamie, do you have an idea?
So actually, I was thinking of two ideas, and Jasmine, you already said one of them. And you
Which
did
one?
mention the second one, which was using them as vocal sirens.
Vocal sirens. Jasmine is stealing all the ideas. Come
I
on.
know.
Save some for the fishies. Come on.
But I guess what
Really
you
be
could
like that?
do. Actually, I just thought of something. Well,
Oh.
it sort of is like a vocal siren, but I was just thinking, everybody knows those videos called Line Writer, where the writer like rides along these lines to the music.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm,
So I was figuring along those lines of having a line writer, because they're all in pieces. They're not like just not one long thing like you can do with a string. It's more like there's this corner here and there's this straight one here, this loop there. You can try to go using gravity, start from the beginning and have one piece going zoop and then zoop and then zoop, and going down as if you're going down a hill. Like, and pretend that your line writer is starting here, and where does it go with the music or with
What
your
if you
music?
gave students scissors to cut them up into what they made their own little line writer course?
Yes, so they can
So
cut them
because
up
each
too.
part is like bent differently. Like honestly, like I was like I would just heat them up, maybe throw them in my car during the summertime, see what they
You'd
created,
have, yes,
like
you'd
chop
have
it
to
up.
give boundaries or limitations of how many times you can cut, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My initial thought was something that Josh Southard mentioned to us back when he came to San Diego. At his school, does a stop motion video during his performances. While the kids create the music, another set of kids go into a big closet of his, and like they like record stop motion that accompanies like the music that they recorded. And I think it would be cool to see this little polyband move up and down in a stop motion kind of way. I don't know, having it travel in a way. I feel like because it's so stiff, you can make some interesting shapes, whatnot. So have it pose in a certain way. Take a picture. Move in oh, sorry, I gotta make this in shot. Move in a different way. Move in a different way. And I feel like this doing something with stop motion to have it cross curricular would be fun. I don't know what, but something.
Mhm.
The journey of the polyband, you know? The ideas are endless. Speaking of ideas are endless, I know you listeners have ideas that are endless, and you could tell us if you email us what your idea would be with the polyband at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com.
Woohoo.
Speaking of reaching out, Jasmine, you're an awesome person who is teaching awesome people. And if people want to reach out and understand what it means to be an awesome person, how would they reach out to you?
I think the best way is honestly through my email, jmelonmah@gmail.com. This is a new one. Usually I just give my
Yeah, it is.
rice.
Yeah, it is.
But my email is jmelonmah@gmail.com, jmelenmah@gmail.com will probably be the best way to reach me. I haven't been on the socials that often, so I'm like, if you want to find me on socials, I am on Instagram as Jasmine Rice Flower, rice like the food, flower like the food.
Cool. And Jamie, how can they reach out to you?
You can reach me at my email, miss.fun.jun@gmail.com.
Awesome. And you can find me on the socials at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. I'm doing a little more with Blue Sky. If you send me an email, it's likely that it's going to be coagulated with a lot of other stuff. So, boy, I'm not. No, just the socials, just the socials. And you can find us at CH Classroom on the same socials. But if you want to email us, once again, chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com. Jasmine, Jamie, thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge on what it means to be a mentor. Wishing you the best for the rest of this month, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys soon.
Thank you.
Woo!
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Till then, bye.